Hello, 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 everyone. So we're going to wait and give people time to come on. I'm going to check and see. Looks like we have someone joining. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to get started in like 2 to 5 minutes. 2 to 5 minutes, we're going to get started. Today, we're going to talk about the 7 critical steps to prepare for taxes as a consulting firm owner. As you're coming in, let me know your name, where you're watching us from. Are you on YouTube? Are you on, where are we? YouTube and Facebook. YouTube and Facebook. So as you're coming in, say hello and let me know your name. We're going to get started in like 2 to 5 minutes. 2 to 5 minutes, we'll get started. Okay, 2 to 5 minutes. Today we're going to talk about the 7 critical steps. The 7 critical steps to prepare for taxes as a consulting firm owner. The 7 critical steps to prepare for taxes as a consulting firm owner. The 7 critical steps to prepare for taxes as a consulting firm owner. So we'll start in about 1 minute. Give some people time to come on. Say hello as you're coming in as well. I want to check the tech. So I want to make sure everyone can hear me or see me. Alexis, let me know if you can hear me and see me as well. So I want to make sure everyone can hear me and see me. So I'm going to check too, just to make sure we're good. We're good? So we'll get started in a few minutes. We're going to get started in a few minutes. Let's see. I want to make sure that we are good. Okay, so I see us. So it looks like we're good. All right. So today we're going to talk about 7 critical steps to prepare for taxes as a consulting firm owner. 7 critical steps to prepare for taxes as a consulting firm owner. Now, here's the thing. With the many changes this year, are you prepared for tax season as a consulting firm owner? Just so you know, tax season starts February 12th of this year. And there are a few things you want to keep in mind to have a stress-free tax season. And in this live stream video, I am going to provide you with 7 critical items, okay? So first things first, I want to welcome all of my live viewers and all of the replay viewers as well. As I'm going through the 7 critical items, if you have any questions or comments, definitely leave those below and I will answer them. Before I get into the content, let me introduce myself because I'll just go ahead and get started and you will be like, well, who am I talking to? So I am Octavia Connor. I am the CEO of Say Yes to Profits. I am the virtual CFO for consultants. I help consulting firm owners have more money, more profits, and pay less taxes. Now that that's out the way, I also have something that's going to complement today's content. So I have a tax form checklist, and there is a link in the description for you to download the copy of it, okay? So click the link in the description or text your name email to 770-847-6819 and you're going to get a copy of the tax form checklist. Once you sign up and get that copy, it's going to direct you to schedule a complimentary tax session with one of our members here at Say Yes to Profits, okay? This tax form checklist is going to complement today's content. Whatever you're going to receive today, this is going to help you with that. So make sure you download that, all right? A few housekeeping before we get started. Again, if you have any questions, any comments, leave those below. I am going to answer all questions and comments at the end. And then for everyone that's watching the replay, I will come back and answer your questions and comments as well, okay? Now, the IRS has officially begun accepting tax filings as of February the 12th. We are now on February 16th, so they've already started. A disclaimer. This video is for informational purposes only. So be sure to consult with your accountant for your specific needs for your firm. Of course, if you do not have a tax accountant, we will be more than happy to help you with that. When you download the tax form checklist, you're going to be directed to where you can schedule a complimentary session to talk about your taxes, okay? But either way I go, this is informational purposes only. Make sure you speak with your tax accountant, okay? So now that we have the housekeeping out the way, let's go ahead and jump into today's content. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go from the very basic strategies to the more advanced strategies. That's how I'm going to start off for today, okay? So the first thing first, the very first thing that you want to do is organize your accounting records. I'm pretty sure you're aware of that, right? You want to use an online accounting system and make sure that your books are reconciled for every single month throughout the entire year. But you don't want to stop there. The next thing you want to do is gather all receipts and source documents for each transaction on your bank statements, especially if you have spent $75 or more. The IRS actually requires that you have the source documents and receipts for anything that is $75 or more. Now, if you're using an online accounting system like QuickBooks, it allows you to attach your source documents to your individual transactions. So you want to make sure you have that together, okay? First thing first, that was number one. Number two, you want to make sure that you understand what you can write off. You cannot write off everything, but you can write off a lot of things. You want to be crystal clear on what you can write off. So I'm going to go through and tell you what you can write off. Now, the IRS will allow you to write off almost every expense that is both ordinary and necessary. In the tax form checklist, you will have a deductions list that will provide you with some of the most common things that you can write off. So when I'm telling business owners that you can write off ordinary and necessary expense, I'm often asked, well, what are those? So let me tell you. An ordinary expense is the things that are common and accepted in your business and your industry, okay? These are the expenses that are common and accepted in your business and in your industry. A necessary expense are those expenses that are helpful and appropriate for your business. They're helpful and appropriate for your business. So how do you determine if an expense is ordinary and necessary? Well, I want you to ask yourself, is this expense directly contributing to the operations of my firm? The key is that it's directly contributing to the operations of your firm. So let me see an example. Let's say you're driving in your car and you buy a cushion for your seats or something, right? This car is used for both personal and business. You cannot write that off. All right. So it has to be directly contributing to the daily operations of your business in order for you to be able to write that off. Okay. That's number two. Number three, you want to make sure you know which business tax return you have to file. So I'm going to give you a list of them based on all of the business structures that we have right now. The first thing, sole proprietorship and single member LLC, you're filing a Schedule C. This will be included in your personal 1040 tax return. Second, partnership or multi-member LLC, you're going to file Form 1065 and receive a K-1 as the partner or the members of the LLC. Corporations and LLCs taxed as corporations, you're going to file Form 1120. And S corporations, you're going to file Form 1120S. It is important that you know which tax return to file, because if you file the wrong thing, of course, you can see how that can be detrimental to your business, right? Okay. So number four is for you to be aware of the tax deadline. There are different tax deadlines based on your type of business, your business structure. I just went over the business structures in the previous item, okay? So if you are an LLC, or on the federal level, LLCs are considered disregarded entities. Your deadline is April 15th, all right? If you are a corporation, for an S corporation, the deadline is March 15th. Got it? Now, here's the thing. If for whatever reason you are not able to file your taxes on time, you want to make sure you file an extension. Why? Because you can face penalties up to $10,000 for late filing and failure to file an extension. Do not miss the deadline. File an extension if you are not ready. You can have your tax accountant file the extension for you. All right. So now we're going to get into a little bit more details and a little bit more advanced strategies just for you to remember as you're preparing to have a stress-free tax season. By the way, before I go on to the next ones, you want to make sure that you download the tax form checklist, because that checklist is going to complement and add additional items that I did not cover in today's live stream video, okay? So click the link in the description to download the tax form checklist. Click the link in the description to download the tax form checklist. All right. So let's go to the next one. So the next thing, you want to update your mileage log. If you use your vehicle for business, you can deduct the standard mileage rate. And most times it is more beneficial to use the standard mileage rate than to try to deduct the actual vehicle expenses for the year. All right. Now, the standard mileage rate is 57.5 cents for 2020. For 2021, it's actually changing to 56 cents. But for 2020, it was 57.5 cents. Now, how are you able to deduct your mileage? Well, you want to make sure that you have proof of your to and from throughout the year. If you do not have that right now, you need to go back and you need to determine all of your business trips, right? What is your business home? Whatever your business home or wherever it's located, you're going to take the to and from for your mileage. Now, you need to have proof of this. The best proof is like a mileage tracker, or you can go to Google and you can put in the to and from, and it's going to tell you the miles and other information. That's the best proof that you can have. You also have several online systems that will allow you to easily track your mileage. The reason why you want to have proof is because if you're ever audited, if you do not have detailed proof of your mileage, then that deduction will be disallowed. So it's highly important that you keep track of your mileage. I recommend just using a mileage software. There are several out there. I won't list any to name any, but there are several. Just keep track of that. If you didn't keep track of that in 2020, now is the perfect time in 2021 to start. Okay? Because again, this can easily benefit you or it can be disallowed. All right? So we're going to move on to the next one. Just if you have any questions or any comments, definitely leave those below and I will answer them at the end. So number 6, you want to, now number 6 is one that a lot of business owners forget about, but it can be very, very beneficial. And I'm going to actually go over how you will track this in your accounting system. Okay. So you want to capture all of your out-of-pocket expenses in your accounting system. Of course, it's best practices to keep your business and your personal separate. That's the best thing that you could ever do. However, things happen, and sometimes you may find yourself spending personal funds on business items. You don't want to not include those because they're from your personal bank account, right? The best thing to do throughout the year is to create an expense report, and then your business reimburse you. That's the best thing to do. But 2020 has ended. We're in a new year, and I just want to help you prepare. So what you want to do, there are 2 ways that you can do this. If you're working with an accountant, I'm pretty sure they already know how to do this. But if they don't, let me tell you. You're going to list all of the expenses that you purchase with your personal funds in your account by debiting the appropriate expense account and crediting your equity account. Okay? So you all let me know if you have any questions about that. Do not forget your personal expenses, your business expenses, I'm sorry. Do not forget those because those will help you reduce your taxable income. Now, I cannot stress enough, going forward, you want to create an expense report going forward. But if you're trying to capture what happened in 2020, then basically list everything, have proof. Now, remember in number 1, I said your proof is your receipts and any source documents, especially if you spent $75 or more. But have proof of that, enter that in your accounting system by debiting the appropriate expense account, office supplies, or what have you, and then crediting your equity account. All right. And number 7 is you want to remember to deduct the estimated tax payments that you've made if you've made them throughout the year. Now, here's the thing. If you have a net profit of $400 or more, you're supposed to pay quarterly taxes, right? If you did not, then you probably need to consult with your tax accountant if that's something you need to start from this point forward. If you did, when you have your taxes done, and let's say you owe, I don't know, $1,000, right? If you've paid $400 for the year already to the IRS, you're going to subtract that amount from what is due based on your tax results, and you're only going to send in what is actually due because you've already paid throughout the year, if you've already paid throughout the year. All right. If you fail to do that, then basically you've overpaid in tax liabilities. And who wants to do that, right? So you want to remember any tax deductions that you've paid throughout the year. Now, I want to give you a bonus, okay? So the bonus, of course, this one is self-explanatory, but it's so important. You want, with everything going on this year, the PPP, the EIDL, how they're looking at that from a tax perspective, in addition to the tax laws that were passed previously, you want to make sure that you work with a tax accountant. There are several new things that are highly important that needs to be included with your tax return when you file them for your consulting firm. A tax accountant will know this, or should know this anyway, right? You also want to make sure that you are fully prepared when it's time to file your taxes. So how do you prepare? I'm going to go over a recap of the 7 items in just a minute, but this is a bonus item. So how do you fully prepare? Well, basically, you want to make sure that you gather all of your information. So that tax form checklist that I'm providing you will list everything that you need to gather so that when it's time to file your taxes, you don't have to go and stop and go and stop. Who want to do all of that? Nobody has time for that. go ahead and prepare. Make sure your books are reconciled. Make sure you have your source documents. Make sure you have all of your PPP information. Another bonus, you want to make sure that your balance sheet, now this is something your accountant will know, all of your loans and the ending balance as of the last day of the year are matching what the loan vendors have as well. You want to make sure your assets are correct and all of your loan amounts are correct. That's highly important when it's time to file your taxes. All right. So you all let me know if you have any questions. I am going to quickly recap the 7 items as well. Now, make sure you download that tax form checklist, and let me see if I have any questions before we get started. Okay, so let me quickly recap the 7 things that you want to make sure you have in place in order to prepare for the tax season. First and foremost, they start accepting taxes February 12th. That's the first thing. Okay. That's not a part of the 7. That's just what you need to know. Number 1, organize your last year's accounting records. If you need bookkeeping cleanup, this is something you need to do right now. Speak with your accountant, contact us, get that together. Listen, don't try to do this yourself. Not this year. With everything going on, this is not the year to DIY. It's just not. Okay? Okay. Number 2, you want to understand what you can write off. I went over ordinary, necessary. You have the tax checklist that'll tell you what you can write off. They are actually, here's the thing. I just received an email a couple of weeks ago. The IRS are actually beefing up their audit system for small business owners. Do not play with the IRS. Okay? They're beefing up their audit department, their audit system for small businesses. So you want to have books that are quote unquote audit proof. You need to, when you're working with an accountant, they need to tell you the things that you can and cannot write off based on your business. That's what we do here at Say Yes to Profits. You're going to know what you can and cannot write off, and you're going to know before the year is over where you need to possibly spend more money to reduce your taxable income. But that's number 2. Number 3, know which business tax return you have to file. Based on the structure of your business will determine which tax return you have to file. Go back and watch, because I listed all of the different structures and the tax returns that each structure needs to file. Number 4, be aware of your tax deadline. It's different based on your structure. Number 5, update your mileage log. Number 6, capture all out-of-pocket expenses. And number 7, remember to deduct estimated tax payments. Okay? So if you're watching a replay, definitely let me know any questions or comments that you have. If you have not downloaded the tax form checklist, and I'm gonna put that link. There we go. Okay. So if you have not downloaded the tax form checklist, there's a link in the description. You can download that checklist. It's going to go into more details. It's going to help you fully prepare for tax season. If you do not have a tax accountant, after you download that checklist, it's going to direct you to our scheduler where you can schedule a session to talk to one of our team members on helping you prepare your taxes this year. Okay. So that is all I have for everyone. I don't have any questions or comments right now. And thank you all so much for joining us today. Until next time, say yes to profits.